When I first started looking at my ideology, I found myself thinking about the theory I had learnt and my favourites over the course of my learning. At first, I had many ideas that I thought would have worked well in my ideal classroom. However, when I started looking into further detail, I discovered that they weren't all practical in a working classroom. My ideology of education is that learning should be involved and be centred around the child. The child's future should be the primary purpose of education, and it should provide a platform that helps the individual to thrive, not just survive. There are two main competing educational ideologies, progressive and traditional. However, there are many issues in education. They are too complex to be narrowed down to fall into either of the two ideologies, as both of the differing perspectives have the best interests of the child at heart. Traditional approaches seem to be favoured by policymakers as academic knowledge is seen to benefit economic aspirations of the government. There is the belief that for too long education has prized skills above knowledge. Morgan 2015. Current policy would suggest that the quality of education is based on what can be measured and tested. However, there is an alternative approach, with less emphasis on assessment and tests, more on skills and learning. It is possible to accept that some of education's most vital purposes, processes and outcomes are beyond the reach of measurement. Alexander 2016. It should be recognised that the process and the product are equally as important. When the topic was first given to us, we were shown three key themes that define education, and they were knowledge, individual, and society. I have always thought that I completely agreed with the individual ideology, but as I have learnt about other ideologies, I have found that, as successful as they may be in theory, when put into practice, they would be very hard to provide the children with the things that the ideologists had in mind, especially without increasing an already high workload that the teachers have. I started to see the importance of society's ideologies, although I think these can be seen as similar as the individual ideologies. There are some big differences. For example, this approach is about giving the children the skills they need to grow up and be active, positive members of society. I have decided to show my ideology of education in how I would run my own classroom. In my view, lessons should be interactive, as this is a good way of keeping children involved. So I have set up my classroom in the style of Montessori. The lessons would last as long as needed, but still fit into the normal school day. In the classroom, there are multiple areas for the children to learn. For example, the yellow table has tools such as screwdrivers, spanners, and hammers that are appropriate sized for the children. The environment has bright and colourful displays to stimulate the children as it draws the children in and hopefully sparks an interest. I have a carpet area for group time and for the start and end of the day. It can also be used for starting new topics. The furniture is also sized correctly and can be different for each child. There is a fruit bowl in the corner so the children can have a healthy snack at break or lunch times. There would be a free-flowing indoor learning and outdoor policy so the children can go wherever they want, whenever they want. Also, I would have trips to the forest for the children to experience learning through a different medium, giving the children a hands-on approach to real-life skills and giving them a chance to take what they have learnt in schools to the forest. Also, it would be a good idea to take them outside for some learning instead of it always being inside. The table structure is set so children can work in groups, pairs, or on their own. This links to cooperative learning. The group that the children work in can affect how they work. For example, after working on their own, it could be beneficial for the children to work as a four to go over what they have already done by working together. Pairs are also good for when starting a new topic, as they can work together and ask each other for help. Individual work is good to develop their independence and to see what the child actually knows. It helps them develop their understanding more of the topic. The equipment in the classroom would include a whiteboard, worksheets, books, arts and craft, and lots of other tools. All those would be stored at the height of the child so they can help themselves. Thank you for listening to my ideology.